recorded live in Mouse Sauce Studio. I'm your host, Giovanna, aka Petty Peaches, aka Petty Peaches with the sauce, aka Let's Get It. What's up, y'all?
What
What's going on?
What's up?
Today is a very special day. I got some amazing guests today, and we're gonna start from the left and introduce yourself and give a little shout out on what you do and who you are, and yeah.
Okay, what's up, everybody? I'm Peter Jason. Been doing this for about a dozen years. Started off doing video work. Started a video production company. Did that for a while. Left the video world because people were shooting $200 music videos. So I got out of that. And then started managing artists, doing marketing campaigns. Led me into the booking world. Was doing bookings for a long time. And now I just recently found myself back in the video production company wise with a new digital platform that I helped create called Halsted.com. And Halsted.com is a digital platform that is 24/7 Chicago content, and it's basically like Revolt TV but solely for Chicago artists.
Big,
That's what's up.
big.
My name is B. Scotty. I'm an artist. I do sing and rap. Right now I've been doing music, but as far as dropping music, I'm just now starting. But I'm trying to get in it, trying to do shows, trying to do more videos and all that. Just get more comfortable with the craft. You know what I'm saying? Learn more about it. So that's all I gotta say.
Word,
Yes,
word.
sir.
I go by LP the 14th. Friends and family closest call me LP. I'm a rapper, producer, creative, thinker, philosopher, breather of air, from the south side of Chicago. And I'm just here just to build and connect with the people.
All right. So, the famous Petty Peaches problem of the day is, why do people feel like they can only support you through social media? Nobody wants to come out. Nobody wants to call you. Nobody wants to invest or do anything to help you, but they like your picture and they feel like, oh yeah, that's a congratulations or a comment or something. Like, what do y'all feel about that?
I feel like social media like it's per se it runs us right now. Like that's our world. Like even though it's just a app or it's just social media, people perceive it as something that's so it's so big, like it consumes us. So so everybody looking at social media like this is the real world, and it's not. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's not. It's real stuff. And back before we had social media, we used to call each other. We used to have to remember phone numbers. You know what I'm saying? You used to have to actually make an effort to do certain things, and now you
Right.
became lazy because you don't have to do that no more.
And
I could just like something and you get it. You get the fact
Yeah.
that I like this.
I think social media has kind of allowed people to blow people off too, because like if you used to say tomorrow at 7 o'clock, it used to really happen. Now you're looking at a text at 6:30 or something, like, and then chasing social media. Like, there's people I know that like get married or like do great things, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't see me post it?" Like, no, I didn't see you. So it's like,
It's a real thing now.
right? Like you're almost like you have to be committed to these people via social media, even though you might be more committed in real life, but you kind of got to match it with social media.
To me, I think it's like a conversation of overstimulation. I think there's so many different ways we receive communication on a daily basis from so many different things, where we hear music, we watching TV, where we watch TV, how we consume media. Is so many things tinging and dinging in our ears that when it comes to music or an event that's happening, it becomes a part of that noise. And so it's easy for you to support noise within that noise space. Right. So I always look at it as a job of a creator, as somebody who chose this path or really is serious about this. Like, it's my job to figure out, how do I create something that's more than noise? How do I motivate you to get you out? It's my responsibility. If you just gonna show me love by liking a post and you're not coming out to see me, I don't even blame you. I haven't created anything for you to come out to see me yet.
This is
I shouldn't
true.
have to beg you.
This is true.
That's your duty as a creator. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's what you
That's my
you're
job.
supposed to do.
I can't guilt you into coming now. I got to create a thing that's so amazing that you feel like you left out if you don't even come.
Yeah, that's what I feel like I'm trying to do with my podcast, because I'm not a big promoter or things like that. People know who I am. I don't usually post a lot all the time, but when I do post, people like, oh, what is this? Because when I post, my last post that I made, my first post I made this year was Petty Peaches Podcast coming soon. And everybody was like, what? You're going to do a podcast? That's so amazing. That's crazy, blah, 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 blah. And I felt like, okay, I'm going to really do it this time and really invest. And then my next post was my first podcast. And everybody's like, whoa, you serious about this? This is something that you really want to do, huh?
Yeah.
But, I'm just going with the flow of things and seeing how things play out and, But, okay. So, we don't have a drinking game today. So, we're going to just go off the dome and we can start off by talking about R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle.
Man.
Any thoughts?
Nipsey, man.
Any thoughts about that?
It was unexpected. Like I didn't expect that. I mean, of course you wouldn't expect the death, but it just hit me like unexpectedly. Like, I don't know where that came from, man. I forget what I was doing at the moment, but I couldn't believe it at first. I'm thinking people playing stuff like that. Like, so you don't play like that, but it was serious. So
No.
it caught me off guard.
I'm walking into Chipotle in Hyde Park, and like I get a notification on my phone, and I see like on Instagram like United Master had posted his face, and I'm thinking like, man, they be really holding down independent artists crazy. So I thought it was just one of those shout out
Showing
Nipsey.
love.
Then I looked at the post. I'm like, wait, he gone? You saying like the guy that went to the crib and bought at the crib, that put on for the crib,
Got a block.
but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He gone?
Right.
He not here? Nah, I can't. Like, I stopped in my tracks. I was in there trying to get my veggie bowl and just go home and feast, and my energy was just taken away from me in that moment. And real talk, it ain't even came back, and I don't even know him like that. It's just the fact of what he represented and who I saw in him and who he reflected.
Yeah, I learned about it when I was at an event for an artist, and it was actually a phoneless event. So we got our phones back, and like a room of like 30, 40 people found out at the same time.
Wow.
And then we were doing like art projects, we were doing mental health things, so it was like we were all like calm, cool, and collective. And then everybody turned their phone on, like, wow, everybody hear Nipsey Hussle died? How'd he die? Like, first we heard he got shot. Like, we were late, and it was like a room of like 30 people, 40 people figuring it all out at one time, But, everybody was just wondering how and why. And, I needed to find out. I didn't know too much about Nipsey Hussle. Obviously, I knew who he was and whatnot, but
That was
I
me.
learned way more after,
Definitely.
finding out about him and what everybody was saying and whatnot. But I feel like not a lot of, not to get off Nipsey, but like a lot of West Coast, East Coast people don't resonate too much in Chicago,
Yeah.
So it's like when
Definitely.
I knew who Nipsey was, but like the way LA and the West Coast thinks of Nipsey is like a whole different way.
Yeah.
You know?
They like think of him like as a
agree- I
Martin
agree
Luther
with that.
King
I
or
agree.
something like
Right,
that.
that's their Tupac and whatnot.
yeah.
Like I would never say he's my Tupac. 'Cause
Yeah, no.
Tupac's my Tupac, right?
Right.
But to other people, that's theirs, and I understand that.
Yeah.
Especially if that's where they from.
Yeah.
Westbrook. Yeah, I seen
With
that.
with the basketball game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second person in history of 2020, and it adds up to 60.
Yeah. So he said he dedicated that to Nipsey. That's what's up.
I mean, it's I don't know. Like I don't really have my ear too close to any one region. Like I'm on the outside of everything. And being on the outside of everything, like Nipsey wasn't just for LA. Like Nipsey, even if you didn't identify, he still is that, he has that impact, because again, I'm under the radar. I got this mixtape, I'm gonna move for $100 because the industry's in the middle of a flux and they haven't made up the revenue that was lost from piracy, and streaming hasn't become a powerhouse that it is today.
See, but I'm kind of
So-
jaded. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm kind of jaded with that $100 record thing, because like the label just buys. Like I'm in the behind the scenes thing, and I get the jokes and the games and the facade that the entertainment business is.
Yeah.
So when I see him say, "Oh, he sold so much money's worth of $100 records," I automatically don't believe anybody's sales numbers and whatnot, especially coming from an independent person.
I got you,
You
but
know what I
that's-
mean? So
That's a
automatically,
separate
I'm personally
conversation for
jaded.
somebody. Life ain't
you know?
here though. like the conversation nevertheless is
But that's why I wasn't like so into Nipsey's life and his music and whatnot, because that didn't like sell me enough as a fan.
you attach his product to the worth of the man he was.
I didn't even have any awareness of the person he was, because his product didn't lure me to him enough.
I respect that. That's so being an artist now, like some of the energy and like the things that I want to set as a new intention is that we do care about the people. We do care about the people. We do know the people. And then so because like right now in the current environment, there is this connecting of the product to the creator, right? So now people are closely reflecting what they do. So you're no longer able to stand in that shadow like, yeah, I do shifty stuff in the background, but I'm a good person. Like, no, you are what you reflect. So I hear what you're saying. But as we move forward, I want the art that I create to either reflect things that I experience or the environment that I identify with or I come from. And whether or not somebody in New York knows me and they hear my death, I hope their response isn't, I ain't heard his project, so I can't really care about him.
No, I'm not gonna say that because I definitely was hurt by it and I felt a certain way about it. But I'm kind of with Pete because I wasn't like, I listened to a couple of his songs. I'm not saying his death it didn't touch me or anything like that. But it's not like I can go to a Nipsey Hussle song right now and be like, yeah, that's my favorite Nipsey Hussle song. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I get it.
And I wasn't educated about his lifestyle because of that. Because I never rock with him. I'm like, he's just another rapper at the moment. Now he's obviously not.
That's my whole thing. Is it's so unfortunate is that like that humanity gets detached
because that's not the cool thing to do. Almost. Yeah.
And so
I get
like
that.
what I'm saying is so like what I want to reset and like the intention that I bring in is that like separate from a thing that you make, there is this automatic, like somebody's life got taken away and there's this automatic connection and you don't even have to mention, you know, oh, well, I don't have a song from him. And not even on some guilt stuff, but on some just real connecting to people doing real things. Because being an artist, being a breadwinner, being somebody in that figure, in that position ain't easy for nobody. So
Yeah. What did y'all think about the Dr. Sebi stuff? Sebi? Is that say his name?
Sebi.
We're going to touch on it.
I don't know.
I think that was deep.
Yeah. I think that people wanted to grasp something because they couldn't believe that he was gone. And so, like, that was the first thing. And he even has quotes saying that, like, I think that really led to it. Like, I see he has, if something happens to me, it's because I did this documentary. So word by word, you could take him literal.
Every time he did a show, though, he said, do you really want to touch on this?
Right.
It was kind of crazy because I started watching the interviews he did and things like that and what he was saying. And I'm like, wow, like it definitely, just like the Biggie Smalls and the Tupac movie, like I honestly didn't know too much about them either. But the Biggie Smalls movie definitely gave me like a deeper outlook. I feel like social media now has given me a different outlook on Nipsey Hussle and things like that. Like I guess now, I know that's sad to say, but I've listened to a couple of songs now. When that's like kind of fucked up. But
I'm gonna be honest, when I first heard about, you know what I'm saying, I wanted it to be a conspiracy theory, you know, at first, you know what I'm saying, be honest.
I think that's what everybody wanted it to be.
Because of what he was trying to, and the person that he was talking about, you know,
they couldn't take that.
You know what I'm saying, it was like, man, I from the little studying I did do, not even studying, just me brushing past stuff and seeing about Dr. Sebi and all the stuff that he be talking about, you know, about the alkaline foods and stuff like that. So I knew the information he was probably finna bring more than I knew. So I was like, dang, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to be about that. Like, oh man, they tried to take him for the information he trying to bring. But you know, that wasn't the case. So
I think by the very nature of how like we as humans interact with living, there is like this sense of like wanting to apply order to stuff. Like to find some definition or some purpose or some design in something, in madness and chaos. And I think whether or not the Dr. Sebi stuff is true or not true, or what happened with this and how people responded, I think it was all just a response to people trying to bring order to that chaos, trying to make some sense out of it. And people get misguided, but it's dangerous though, because like you said, you can kind of spread certain things that can reinforce certain fears or psychoses or certain things, but in the spirit of it, I think people just trying to make sense.
Yeah. Right. That's just the problem of having it in a public light. You know, anybody could run with it. You know, I just think about it like when something happens, you need to reflect on their life, you know, at that moment. And because no one does know. You probably still don't know. We don't even know if that was the dude. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
like there's a lot of
He
we
could
don't
have just
know.
sacrificed. you
So
know?
I think the best answer when something tragic happens is we don't know yet. I think that's always the best answer until we start going in the direction of like, man, who knows? We don't know. It could be this, it could be that, but it's best that we just wait until people start coming up with that as their answer. Shit gets out of hand. It becomes disrespectful. It becomes throwing people under the bus. It becomes saying things that you wouldn't have normally said. Like, it just becomes chaos. And I think that's what happened a lot. Even with his, he had an event, or not he, but they had an event that day or the next day at his location, and there was like a stampede, or, you know, went out of control and whatnot. So I just think people just need to reel that back and understand what's the real reason you're really celebrating his life about.
Because he was a person and he passed and he reflected the community in a very simple way. I think in general we overcomplicate like simple emotions, like when somebody hurts you with your homie, instead of saying like, yo man, you hurt my feelings when you did that. Is so many other things we say, but I think people hurt and what he represented for them and what he could have represented for the industry and his perspective, whether or not there's some industry stuff in the play in the background or not. The story that he participated in transcended a lot of different other stories. So,
All right. So I thought of my game. Since we don't have a drinking game today, we're going to do a would you rather. So you give two opinions, you give two statements, and of course everybody has to pick one or the other and why you picked it. So I'm going to start it off. I'm going to start off the conversation we had at Doe House. Would you rather a garbage rapper and a great videographer, or a raw ass rapper with a bogus videographer?
I'll answer right off the bat. I'd rather have to see what I'd rather see.
Yeah.
I'd rather see the dope video with garbage rapper
Okay.
because it's just high quality. You're giving me quality. You know, even if you might be giving me quality bars, you're not portraying that through your art.
Right.
You know, so it's like that's why I think a lot of things work, because people are just smart enough to do high ass quality. You know, like that Blueface, he did 3 remixes and put out videos to drop them with 3 different artists, top of the line artists. It was the visuals
Still
that
in
made
Chicago lingo.
You know that, man. Yeah, that's a whole different subject. But that's a trash rapper with an awesome video, and that's it. Spooky Black. I don't know who Spooky Black is.
Who's
Spooky Black.
No.
He was a trash rapper with a trash video.
JJ Ice
Yeah,
Fish.
both.
Man, there's a lot of dude. You can go on and on with bad rappers with high quality videos. There's a long list. You can't even stop naming them.
yeah.
I agree with that part. Then
Well, which one?
I'd rather see the high quality video and the trash rapper too though.
Yeah, I mean, it's visuals. So if you're going to show me a visual, I want it to be aesthetically pleasing. Rule of thirds, right? And so if the sound's bad, I can always mute it. But
Still enjoy the video.
I'm not finna put the video and close my eyes. It's a waste of energy.
Yeah.
But that's where the frustration in rap comes, though, with a lot of artists who are just dope. Like, there's a lot of dope artists in Chicago and in all different places that just have poor quality production. That's why they don't get that look. It could be a hit record, horrible video, it ain't going nowhere. You know?
Yeah.
It's so many things at play. I want to see us all be friends better. If we all if we think about it,
In
it's
Chicago or just artists in general.
artists is it's both. It's both. My limited experience of kind of waking back up, coming into music again, is like I thought everybody was more friends than they are. So
They
and
not.
that's cool
They not.
because it'll change soon. I feel it. Like everything's connected, and like there's so many
yeah.
resources, and there's so much talent, and so many different
So much
pools
talent in Chicago.
that if these pools start spilling into each other, like we can grow our own industry here.
That's the talk of Chicago though. Like, what is it gonna take? Well, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting the game, but I feel like we need to do that because we have so many opportunities here, but everybody goes to Atlanta to do work, LA, and everywhere else to do work when anything you can think of Here in Chicago, we can get it done because people want to come up here to go to the shows. People want to come up here to see the scenery. People want to come up here to enjoy the people, to go over there in O Block and see stuff and everything. We got the attraction, but it's just like, why can't we just come together, drop the ego? Because 9 times out of 10, you're not doing shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, why can't we just all build together? You know?
Nah,
Chicago would be a beast if we came.
Man,
together.
what?
We a beast already, but we a beast.
There's no major we don't have an office of no major label company here.
Yeah, because they're scared though. They'll never come to Chicago. Chicago has a bad way of doing business. I don't even think we
This is
do
true.
business. Like,
We
I
be
can't even say
finessing.
that Chicago, yeah, exactly, and that's
When
that
you think
doesn't
of
work
Chicago,
for
you
both
definitely think of
parties.
finesse.
You know, finesse only works for one side of the party. You need it to work both ways, and I feel like Chicago will never ever have label offices here.
Very true. So what's
I
your?
feel like we can.
wait, but
I say we can, but
Yeah.
the people that
We gonna have to
labels
create
ain't
our own
coming.
label, like a
Right,
Chicago
right.
label.
Right, it
Okay,
ain't come.
okay.
Like, yeah, we need to create TDE here. Type
Right.
of-
Okay, but
you know what
you
I'm
said they ain't
saying?
gonna give it to us. We got.
Nah, bro, they ain't coming. They're too scared. It's too political. Like the
make it
streets
amongst
really
us.
run Chicago, and it's unfortunate a lot of times. But they'll never come do business here.
So what's your? Would you rather?
I mean,
Oh, after you get your.
my what was scenario again? Trash rapper. I thought
No,
I
no, no.
answered it.
Yeah, you answered. I'm saying it's your turn. I want you to
Ah.
give us one. It doesn't have to be music related. It can
Okay,
be
okay, it could be anything.
anything.
All right,
The
okay.
ground is open. We're all grown here.
I got you. Funny.
So
I don't know. I think Chicago is in a good position to write a new story.
okay.
Like to write a story that hasn't been seen and write a story that can be compared to how it happened somewhere else before, and that once in as our kids talk about these moments, they can talk about a moment where they just did something a little bit different, and I think that power is in our hand. Like a lot of the corniest sayings like really stand out to me in this current place in my life where it's like be the change you want to see. So I'm not the person that's gonna show up and talk about what it don't look like, how I want it to look. I'm gonna show up and be like, all right, how we gonna change this? And how you approach people is you motivate and you speak to their talents, cause it's like, nah, ain't nobody working for me. We working together, and if we all working together and we can all align where we trying to go, what can we do? Everything,
Right.
anything. So a label office here or not, all right, you got to give them a reason. Give them an economic reason to want to come
This is
here.
true.
Open up manufacturing. What if you distribute it from Chicago Central, located by fresh water sources, to airports, like stuff like that? We can make those discussions and we can present that to labels, but it's so much other stuff to do. So we control how this chapter look,
Right.
and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Right. And if you think about it, every person that ever came out of the gauntlet of Chicago is global and major.
Definitely.
You know, you just got to get out this gauntlet, and Chicago prepares you like no other city. So we're a necessity in the whole game.
Yeah.
Bruh, seriously.
Do you have one?
Do I have?
Or would you rather?
Would you rather rap or manage?
Definitely manage.
You should spit some bars.
I can
uh,
spit bars. Anybody that knows me, if I'm in
'Cause
the
if you-
car and we got a beat on, I'm gonna spit that shit.
Because everybody, y'all rappers, y'all know what you expect out of a manager, and then like Peaches knows the other side, like myself.
Right.
You know, I've never been an artist, but like I always say, like the artists have to spend money, and the other side of the table makes the money.
Hello,
what I mean?
hello. Can you say that one more time? Say that one more time.
Well, if you're a rapper, you're on this side of the table where you're spending money, and if you're on the management side, the videographer, producer, anything like that, you're on the making money
The
side.
key thing is you have to spend money, and people just don't. Just because
Right.
I know all these people and I know all this stuff does not mean that I can get you a record deal. Does not mean that I can get you into everything for free. Like,
Right, and it's more like if you wanted to create $1 million gas station, how much money would it cost you to start it?
like $2 million, like at least double
Well,
that.
what I'm saying is that's what it costs to be an artist. Like if you want to make $10 million or sell 100,000 records, you got to find out how much is it going to cost you to even print those, and you got to spend that much and whatnot. You know, I think people don't think in that box, like, or they're stuck in their box of what being successful in music is. When in reality, you got to compete with like Drake. and you're competing with Lil Wayne and all these people. Like, that's who you're fighting for airtime from. That's who you're fighting for Sprite
Exactly.
to give that sponsorship to. Where, you know, so it's like being an artist or and then being the manager on that side, trying to work with an artist that has their own game plan when you're the manager.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like on both sides.
So
What would you rather do?
Because I love music so much, I'm probably gonna still say, you know what I'm saying, the music side. But I feel like if you love your craft as much, you should know how to manage a little bit of yourself too. You should know a little bit of the business side. You should at
He
least.
just says no.
I feel
But
like,
not-
I feel like you should.
But
though.
9 times out of 10, you don't. But that's why there's people like me and Pete and Doe and Bree and different people that you need to connect with. And that's why I created this podcast once again, because I'm going to say it, because people that I've known my whole life,
Right.
you know, that I've been telling that this person is here, come to this free event, or this is happening. And I told them when I didn't know nothing, I'm telling y'all, I told this guy right here, actually, we were at my friend's Jay Millie house. Shout out to Jay Millie.
He's so petty.
We were sitting there and we were all talking. I said, look, I just got this, you know, I'm the assistant manager for the Marketing Midwest, representative of Def Jam. They're like, oh, snap, you know? And I was like, yeah, but I don't know nothing yet. I don't know nobody. Just know that when I tell y'all it's time to invest, like, get ready. And everybody looked at me crazy, and I sent out the emails. I showed people the packages, and people still looked at me crazy. And I'm just like, I'm telling y'all what to do. Like, I have the keys. I'm not the plug itself, but I'm the middle piece. I might got the electricity to make, you know, everything
Real talk.
happen.
Real talk.
Yeah.
So, huh?
Connector, right?
Exactly.
Connector.
And I had to humble myself because when I first started, I wasn't humble about it. I'm like, I know I'm the shit. But then I had to humble myself.
Yeah, I
so
did too. I think everybody does that when they first
Yeah.
get in. You know, I was like, y'all ain't on shit. I look at my 2009 Facebook post, and I'm like talking shit, you know, and I'm like, man, I'm such an idiot. Let me delete this. I never want to see this, you know. So, yeah, I think everybody had their first share of their initial, entry into the music business. You know,
It's humbling. It's humbling. I think for me, like, the biggest adjustment is like you don't see the work on the back end that goes into play. And I think a lot of times when you have an artist coming in, like y'all was saying, and they're like so out of the whack, they don't know what it takes. And it's like, to be fair, it's not their job to know what it takes. You know, those are just logistical problems to me. You know, that's like an artist isn't good at figuring out how to get their merchandise from point A to point B. It's their responsibility because how the market dictates, it's their responsibility. But if they're artists, those are things that should be answered by a function or by a process that should have a fixed cost associated to it versus compared to a percentage per the lifetime or wherever this piece of art exists. And so it's just like you're in the influx of how people making money and people don't know how to pay people. So it's just weird. So it's kind of like the Wild Wild West.
Right.
So what we really need is a player that can kind of like streamline that process to where artists can trust and say, handle this admin for a set amount and I can trust you. But
But a lot of times it's where we come in as people that are in the background, like, we'll give you, like, hey, we'll do this for you for 2 months. We'll show you what we could do. And then after we do that, here, you should want to, after we produce what we want you to have, see if you like it, and then you can make an investment and then move forward in the relationship. But people don't even want to do that, though.
And I look-
people be too big-headed that they don't want to. I'm giving you my what I have for free. My plugs, everybody I know, the meetings, everything. I'm putting it on the table. Here, come. See what I do. I'm going to show you what I got. And you still don't want to invest after that? So I'm supposed to beg you?
I even look at
No,
it like artists,
not
like,
going to beg you.
artists who want to do multiple things. You know, that's cool. It's great, actually. I know an artist I work with. She builds websites. She does her own graphics. That's amazing.
I
You
wish
know
I
what I
could do
mean? To have an
graphics.
artist that's like, so you don't have to go through that back and forth thing. You know, I get that. But like, I would never, like, using an analogy, like, if I was going to build a house, I wouldn't, because I think I know how to build this house, build the house. I would get people who already built houses. I would get the guy who does roofing to do my roof. I would get the guy to do my foundation to do my foundation, you know, and I would just piece my house together. I wouldn't say I'm going to go build this house because I never built a house before. And that's how I, you know, that's a good analogy to look at artists. Like, if you've never done this before, then I'm sure you're capable of doing it, but it's going to either take you time or money. And sometimes money is easier than the time because people don't have the time. to learn it, to master it, to go through the errors of it. You know, and if you got the time to do it, artists go right ahead. You know, but sometimes there's the cheat code, and the cheat code is sitting in the room with you.
So can I ask you a question though? So are you along the line of like straight indie, no major no more? Or are you
No,
still
there's
major?
a blend of a gap. Like I work with different I like to work with the artists, like mostly with the artists, but I have some friends that work at probably one of each label that I contact, that I talk to, that I work with on artists. So I kind of see what they want, and I could go and reach out to the artists at the same time.
Okay.
So and in the indie level, like there's indie is everything now. Like everybody's indie. Like if you're making 200,000 a year, you're indie, and that's successful as hell. You know, so it's like who's not Nipsey Hussle was indie.
Yeah.
You know, he had a distribution or a publishing deal or whatnot, which is technically a deal, but like he made all his decisions. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they say. Yeah.
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 No, don't bring that up. He don't like that one.
No, it's not that I don't like that one. I just know like that's an industry game. You know what I mean? And like I don't buy into the industry game.
I got you.
Yeah. No, I just don't believe the sale numbers of it.
He had $100 album.
Right.
It's like $100,000 an album, but they put out mixtapes in between.
Right. Because if I put out $100 album with my man's right here, I'm gonna say we sold 10,000. Can you tell me I didn't? Yeah. We sold 10,000 of them.
Man, for real.
Right. So tell me I didn't.
Right.
So that's why I never believe like a number like that. So it's not just him. I just don't believe those numbers.
I got you.
Perspective.
I think that's my bad.
No,
No.
we're here.
Like he, I don't know how many he sold, but I think the impact of just doing that.
Right. It's
kind of
genius.
positioned him as a certain kind of person,
Right.
So his mixtapes went crazy, so he's able to get an album deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was
Especially you package up together with a couple
they
things
got
and
me on the mic, so it's like,
right.
say that, man.
Yeah, he was Jake was just giving props to like the whole concept of being like one of the first artists to, you know, do a package like that and put it out there and kind of change the game with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did end up getting the album that he wanted. So,
Right.
I mean, like, you can't.
Right. He still had control of his music and whatnot. So
Yeah, he definitely.
No, Jake,
No, you good.
you're a part of this. You're gonna be on my
Jake,
next
you-
show. Why
you
you don't
family,
even know
I
Jake.
need
it?
to clip mic him. He needs a lapel.
You do the
But,
talking next
um,
time, Jake.
I'm usually the voice off screen.
Oh yeah, it's
Right,
like
All right, Bruce.
What's up?
Your would you rather?
Okay. Would you rather make 150,000 a year or have 80/50 credit?
Mm.
850 credit. Yeah, I'm talking 80/50.
Man, get 100,000 every year.
Yeah.
Man, if you're smart, if you want to be lazy, you take the 100,000 every year. But if you feel like you could take and actually do some things and bust some moves,
You can finesse that.
you
credit.
take the 850 credit. You know,
Yeah.
it all
People be giving you shit.
Hey, look,
right. You can get
I'm
a
ahead of my time, brother. That's all.
right,
80-50 people be asking me.
right.
What about you?
I'm gonna take the cash because even in our current market, if I just wanted to play the money market game or just sit it in some mutual fund, I can probably get a 10 to 15%
You're right.
yield off that just in a year alone. So
Right.
I'd rather take that. You let that sit in the background and you take that. You
And you
break
can
off
get
a
your
piece,
credit up to
some real
850 very
estate.
easily.
You go into
I
you
know,
look
but
at the
850
study.
You
You can look
can
at
still get the money though. You can still make the money with that credit.
nah, but it's still
I get what he's saying though.
I get what you're saying. You
Right.
right, but I can secure a
Right.
loan on
Right,
my
right,
own.
right.
I can back it up my own collateral, and
Right,
so
right,
now
right.
it's a different type of basis instead of letting you own
Mm-hmm.
my debt per se. I can own my debt and I can sit that on that if I want to. I don't know why I would,
Mm-hmm.
but from that, I can take $100K and do some things with $100K.
talk.
I could buy $10,000 houses in particular neighborhoods that are showing signs of population increasing to year over year in urban areas, and then rent those out to get a positive cash flows off those alone. And just by the first 50 grand, I can make another 100. That's our real estate.
You thought about this before?
No, I just
yeah.
came up with that answer right off the
This is-
top.
Bro got a plan.
This man, if you hear this
I'm with
man,
it.
like, if you hear this man's, like, speech,
Nah,
like, I mean, this is my cousin. I don't want to brag on him, but he's done stuff that a lot of artists should do. I know one other artist that did it. He did a mixtape. I was at his listening party. Don't ask me his name. He knows I was there. Oh, I feel bad. I'm gonna find out his name and say it. But he did the steps he had to do to get to where he wanted to be.
Right.
Like, I don't want you to say it now, but eventually I want you to say it. But yeah, no matter of fact, just say it. Just say it now. Get it out the way.
Say what?
So I'm gonna say it. So my cousin is a very brilliant young man,
No, I'm not.
and I admire him. He came from a different type of background, not the typical mom and dad at home or whatever the case may be, and he didn't want to be a product of his environment. He graduated from he went to city colleges. He graduated from DePaul, and he worked at AT&T. I forgot what was your position at AT&T?
It was client solution executive.
Okay, so yeah, they moved him to Atlanta. He lived in Atlanta. Well, I don't know how long you did that for.
This is for a few months
Right.
for training.
And then you came back up here. And how long did you work at AT&T?
I worked at AT&T for almost 5 years, 4.5.
And he realized that his passion was music. He realized that he wanted to be a rapper. So he took his investments from work and everything else, bought a crib, bought a whole crib. He's single, ladies. He's single, no kids, and he's single. And
Shout out your South social media right now, bro.
and LPXIVV, is that it?
Hit him up in the DMs.
And all he does all day is create music. Like, I'll be over there, I'm in good vibes. He's making a beat himself with his piano. He got his people over there helping him, all pouring into him, making music. Like, I don't brag on people's music. I don't really even listen to people's music. I'm sorry, unless y'all sending me $50 to consult you. But other than that, I'm not just gonna listen unless I'm really passionate about it.
Right.
But man, like, it's crazy. Like, I just feel like it's everybody's time. Like,
I'm honored that you feel all of that. I'm honored. I am.
you're
I'm
my big
humbled
cousin. I
with it.
love you.
I love you too.
Yeah, that's good
Thank
shit,
you.
bro.
I receive.
Because you don't
that.
hear a lot of people doing that. Like, you don't hear a lot of people quitting their job, and not just no McDonald's or some little stuff. I'm not saying shout out to McDonald's, but I'm not saying that. But taking the steps that you need to take to get to where you need to be,
Right.
and knowing that what he told me the first time he said he did it, he told me that you have to be so into your craft, like, regardless of what anybody's saying, like, oh, that was trash, oh, that's not good, you're gonna be like, well, I got 30 other songs to fall back on. Like, I don't need your reassurance to tell me that I'm not a good rapper or whatever. And I just feel like,
Yeah, like my energy is like, by the time you hear it for real, I've already listened to it 1,000 times, literally.
Right.
It's already amazing. And so when you hear it, I'm not really asking, do you agree with me? I'm asking, what's your experience with it?
Right.
Because you might not share it, and it might not be amazing to you, and you're correct too.
Right.
It's amazing to me.
I think, just jumping in, I think that shit's amazing that you did that, because I say it all the time, like, when you don't have like a plan B and you put your back against the wall, like a different type of person comes out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, now you're doing it. And another thing I like to say is, like, you got to jump off the cliff sometimes. And you jumped off the cliff, so hell yeah, that's courage. And putting your back against the wall, and you have to do this shit is gonna make you do this shit.
Yeah, that's that fight or flight. You know what I'm saying?
Right, hell
You
yeah.
gotta
So
do it.
good
You know
shit
what I'm
on that,
saying?
bro.
Man,
Fight or flight, for
we
real.
fighting right now. We fighting for everything, and God has been dope, man. Really
Yes, he
good
is.
people. People I grew up in high school with just came back in the fold, and it's like, hey, I'm down for you. Friends from forever. It's like, I'm down for you, and everybody showing love and able to help and want to support because they really believe in things that I believe in as far as the craft and trying to create something bigger than just like feeding my ego and saying I want to be the best.
Right.
Okay, everybody want to be the best.
You should want to. You should want to.
Everybody
right.
gonna be okay. What's next?
Right.
What's
Now
next?
that you the best, what you gonna do with
Yeah, because on some real shit, like when I was talking to one of my homies the other day, I was like, nobody makes bad beats anymore. No one raps bad anymore. For the most part, like quality wise, it's kind of like I look at it like H&M. Like H&M is fast fashion, right? Like for the most part, like you can make good looking cheap clothes now. 20 years ago, that wasn't the case. If you had cheap clothes, it looked trash. Now, because of production, manufacturing, you can look good when cheap ass shit.
Right.
So because of that production ability has springboard. The same thing happened in music.
Right.
There's higher quality samples available. There's higher automation in the sequencers and the programs for production. There is more abilities to collaborate and share information in the blink of a hat. So the music overall, even the cheap shit is better. So in a space where everything is good, what's the separation? It's all noise basically. So even when you make a song that's good, you can sit there like, man, that's a good song. But I'm not even impressed if it's not inspired. If I'm not moved by it, if I can't feel it, if it ain't nothing real. It ain't gotta be your exact truth, but is it some real shit? And if it ain't no real shit, turn it off until you find it. Cause you will if you trust in it. Don't try to do it based on no deadline, based on some other criteria, because you cheating the craft. You cheating the art, and the art would abuse you, will swallow you, and will spit your ass out and wait for the next person in line. Wait till you called up. But in the meantime, get ready.
Right.
People try to force that call like, well, I'm so prepared, they're going to have to call me. No, some of the most prepared motherfuckers never get called.
Right. It's almost like there's lanes that be filled, like it's hard to fill a Chance the Rapper type artist right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like no matter how dope you are, if you're just the second guy right there, man.
Yeah.
Damn, I feel sorry because you might just straight up miss your whole time
Yeah.
because someone was in that place right there.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like sometimes it's timing. I think about that about the Cool Kids. You guys familiar with the Cool Kids?
I
from
love the
Chicago?
Cool Kids.
Dude, those were
I'm not up on them.
Chance the Rapper and Vic Mensa
Chuck
before
English, Sir
them.
Michael
Chuck
Rocks.
English,
Yeah.
and they kind of set it up till
Bro.
the next guys to pick it up right up. You know,
Ahead of their time, like production wise, Chuck English, the
Right.
way that he went with the kicks. I remember being in like my brother's like best friend crib like 8 years ago, and he's like, oh yeah, my homies, they make music or whatnot. They call the Cool Kids, and he played them. And I was like, man, these kids crazy. I was already on them. Like they had a record called Black Mags. They like a little bit of gold in the pager. It was way before its time, but that shit, it was hidden. Like,
Well, now I'm going to do something on the show.
oh,
I want to play the two artists that I have on the show.
oh.
I want to get Jake. He's out having a meeting with Money Mere Media.
he switched it up.
I'm not going to be petty on my show, guys. But
Shout out to Mayor though. I fuck with him.
shout out to Mayor and Jake.